Yep.
Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're talking about the mistake that we made in this van.
Okay, not just mistakes, or not really mistakes. We're talking about things that we have learned that we would change if we were to build another van.
Yeah, things that are slightly inconvenient or weren't necessarily fully thought out at the point while we were building. And we notice them now, and they kind of drive us crazy sometimes, but we also, some of them we just try to embrace. Yeah. So we'll present to you some of the mistakes we feel like we made in this van.
Okay.
And let's start now. We are Zach and MP, traveling with Jasper and Sidney, our two dogs, aboard Roadie, our self-converted ProMaster van. After purchasing our van only a few weeks before the pandemic, we spent the better part of that summer converting it into our beautiful full-time home. Every 2 weeks, we will share with you what we learned while being Vanlifers, in hope to inspire you and others to try this amazing lifestyle.
If there's anything we learned is that it is possible to have two humans working full-time with two dogs in our 86 square foot home, and we will share with you how we got there. So those of you who've been following along might notice something a little different about today's video.
Can you find it?
No? Maybe? All right. MP has two arms.
Two fully open arms. Not fully functional yet. Not the full range of motion. But I do not have a cast, which feels amazing.
Yeah, so now that means MP gets to do all the dishes again.
Yeah, not super stoked about that.
All right, so
pros and cons.
well, we're not here to talk about the pros of taking your cast off. We are here to talk about what would we do differently if we were to rebuild this van. All right,
let's get started. In this van, we have a 3-seater, which means that we can actually drive around a friend, and it feels really like comfortable when we're driving. The one downside is we are losing a little bit of living space. And one of the things we learn over the time of living in a van is we wish it was a 2-seater and that it had a swivel so that we could use part of the cab as our living area. So currently we have the 2-seater, which with a little bench, which is really great for extra storage. But in the winter and in general, when we're living in a van, it does feel a bit more cramped. And we would have liked to have the 2-seater so we gain more access to the front, and the front can also become part of the living space by rotating the seat backwards. Some of the pros of having a 2-seater swivel would be that we have more living area and we have a better access to the front. So in the winter, we don't have to open the side doors almost ever. We can keep the heat a little bit more for getting ready for skiing and stuff like that. Some of the cons is that it is a bit of a more expensive upgrade. Usually if you buy a working van, it might not already have swivel, it might not already have 2 seats. Ours came with the 3 seats. So yeah, one of the other downside is we can't drive a friend. And this is something we didn't think we were going to utilize that much, but lately we've been using it a little bit and it's been pretty convenient. So this is definitely something we would miss if we were switching to a double seat. But by double seat I mean 2-seater. It's worth the con for us for if we were ever to build this again.
when we were building our bed, we wanted to have a permanent bed because we put bikes underneath it. But living in the van all winter, we realized that it'd be really nice to be able to just lower that bed. We're not saying we want the dinette type of style bed, but we definitely want the ability to drop it down in the winter to just have a bigger space to live in, which would be super nice.
You don't realize that in the winter you're going to be more inside, and every little bit of inside room you can get feels great. Currently the bed is high because we have bikes underneath. In the winter, right now, it stays high and we remove the bikes. And in the winter, we would really like to have more space in the van, so lowering the bed would make our space just that much more comfortable. We wish that we designed our kitchen with drawers. We thought making a kitchen is basically making a home kitchen. Actually, yes, but no. It's small space, so it's hard to to get into the cabinet if you're using it. We basically made cabinets that are regular with little shelves. Things get really deep in those cabinets the same way yours at home do, but in a van you just don't usually carry things you don't use a lot, so it's not really useful. We wish we made them all drawers. So we, for example, part of our kitchen is like this, and we wish it was like that. We wish we could have used all this cubic space, and we could have seen everything that's in there by being able to pull on the cabinets. This is something that I think we tell everyone that is building a van. Make sure you use drawers. Don't make cabinets. Cabinets are awful.
Cabinet doors, by the way.
Yeah, cabinet doors. So yeah, this is definitely a good tip, I think, and definitely something we felt was a mistake. It's not like it can't work. We found ways to make it work, but we will not do that again.
The pros to drawers is it's easier to access stuff. It's more usable space. But the cons are they are harder to make and slightly more expensive. So one of the things in the van that we do regret is the way we laid out our garage. We have bikes in the garage, we have the bike drawer, but we wish we put it on the driver's side. So on the ProMaster, and I think Sprinters and Transits are the same, you open up the passenger side door first, which means the bikes are right there. But most of the time when we're going to the garage, we want to get other things, so it'd be really great to only have to open one door versus having to open two doors to access all the gear on the other side.
So basically what Zach is saying is we wish we put the bikes on the driver's side so that all the stuff would be on the passenger side, which is the first door you get to open.
On the topic of garage space, we wish we heated the garage of our van. So we have our heater in the front, which is great. The van's super toasty in the winter, but it can be like 0 degrees under the bed when it's really cold out.
The problem with that is if you're planning on just living in the summer in your van, no problem there. Don't worry about what we're about to say. But if you do anything like us where you live full time throughout the whole year and you go in a place where there is going to be winter, like when I say winter, I mean snow and skiing, your water will freeze if it's not heated a little bit. And we blocked off access to our garage from the main living space, which means it's really hard to heat it up. And what also happens is that because it's so cold under the bed, it creates condensation under the mattress. So we found out the hard way that we needed a protector on our mattress and we needed more airflow because our first mattress got a little bit of mold in it and we had to replace it. So this is something to keep in mind. If you're able to keep your garage or the space below your bed the same temperature as the whole van, you will prevent water from freezing and you'll prevent condensation under the bed. So very important thing there. I think if we were to do that again, we would find a way to run the heater like has a split, so to have the heater go a little bit to the garage and a little bit to the front so that both places are maybe even on a dial. I don't know if you can do that. Yeah. So yeah, this would be something we would do differently for sure.
We have a fantastic fan, which I've joked is not all that fantastic. It's fine. It does the job. It pulls the air out, but the problem is it's a 3-speed, so that means that we have either on or off, and we can't run it while we're driving, or when it's raining or snowing. So if we were to do the fan again, we would definitely choose to use a MaxxAir fan, which has the hood, and we can run it when it's raining, if it's snowing, and being it's on like a 10-speed dial, we can just... So the pros of a fantastic fan is it is way less expensive, and it is much more low profile. The pros of the MaxxAir fan is it has a low amp draw, which means you can run it a lot, and it can be used while you're driving, and is full cover against the elements.
So basically, one of the things we felt was a mistake is we essentially cheaped out on the fan, and we didn't realize all the pros that the MaxxAir had to offer. So one thing we would do differently, we would get a MaxxAir 100%. Windows. The thing we messed up with the windows is we lacked some measurements or thought, or I don't know. Basically the windows are the first thing we ever put in the van, and we were like, yeah, that looks great. Oh, that looks great, perfect. And then we started putting the stuff inside, and well, let's just say the windows are a little bit lower in certain areas. So We wish we spent more time figuring out how high the bed was going to go, how high the counter was going to end up, so that the windows could have been at the proper height. We didn't realize that we would have probably wanted to go as close to that little ledge as possible. Same with here. We probably would have gone as high as we could. So it would have been possible. We just didn't know at the time. It's not problematic the way it is right now. It's just we would do this differently. And once you make one hole, well, it's not like you can change it and make a different hole. So this is something we had to kind of work around. And if you ever have the chance to just put the windows in a perfect sweet spot from what it's going to look like on the inside, because we kind of put them on how it was based on what it looked like on the outside. So this is something we messed up, but not that bad.
So we don't hate our gray water system, but we do wish we did a little bit differently. We have a 10-gallon jerry can that we can easily take out, dump it, which is super convenient. But we do wish we did two things. One, we wish we had access from the front, so we don't have to walk around every time. And the other thing we wish we did is had a summer option where we had an under-mounted gray water tank where we can...
That was much bigger.
Much bigger. We, in the summer, empty our gray water every day.
Well,
every 2 days?
Every 2 days for sure.
It'd be nice to go almost the same amount of time, fresh to gray.
Yeah, for sure. And not like always look for a dump station.
Yeah.
But yeah, slight upgrade. So that's something we could even do it right now, but for now we like it enough. It's just something that if we were to redesign the whole plumbing system, I think we would 100% aim for that. Our flooring. This was just us being cheap at the beginning. This is one of the first things also we bought, and we did. And we were at Home Depot once, and we saw this 4-stack leftover floor that was perfect color for us. It's what we have right now, and it was $5 each box. We talked a little bit about it in our costing video. We felt like it was the deal, but now after multiple water incident and 2 dogs and water bowls spill, we will have to change the floor probably to vinyl. So this is going to cost us some time. I think that's a legit mistake.
Yeah, this is a legit...
So don't fall for the cheapness of laminate. Go for vinyl. Vinyl is worth it. The fact that some of our fellow Vanlifer friends literally spill water and they don't even panic a little bit is...
We're envious.
We envy it. We're like, if there's a water, we panic and we try to absorb it as fast as possible. So yeah, this is a mistake, I think.
Pure, legit.
Pure, simple, naive mistake. One thing it's not really a mistake because it's something we could change, but it would require to change our layout. So at that point, it's not going to happen. Composting toilet. We don't have one, and we wish we have one. We have just a cassette toilet, so it uses chemical to break everything down, and it doesn't smell. It's actually really awesome, but it has a very small capacity, and having a composting toilet would really help us be fully self-sufficient. We try to use a lot of public washrooms to avoid having to poop into our cassette toilet. So yeah, composting is what we felt should have been the way we went. The thing with composting toilets, they're bigger, so you kind of need to integrate them into your layout really early on. And right now we couldn't do that. So some of the pros of having a composting toilet, it is much easier for pooping. It's more comfortable. They look more like regular toilets. It's easy to dispose of the waste, and they are more environmentally friendly, which is probably just that there would make me feel much better about having that toilet. Some of the cons, though, are pretty major, is that it takes a lot of space, and they are much more expensive, like way more expensive. We're talking almost like $150 for a cassette toilet and like $1,000 for
$1,200.
Yeah, over $1,000 for composting. But we've now lived in a van almost for a year, so we feel like we know what we would want, and we've been through the struggle of the COVID situation where all the public washrooms were closed, and we had to be way more self-sufficient. So we wish we had that. We survived. We're still here, and it all worked out. But this is something we would have done for sure differently. Thanks for watching this video. We hope that you find it useful. Maybe we can avoid you having to figure out you made a mistake, or just bounce some ideas if you're thinking of doing things slightly differently. And some of the things in our layout are things you're interested in. You can see what we wish we tweaked a little bit.
Yep.
We absolutely love roadie. We are almost 1 year now since we lived in it, and we love it. There's just a few things that if we could do again, or if we would have done slightly differently, we could have had what we think would be the dream layout. Don't forget to subscribe, because we're posting a video every Sunday about a different thing we learned about living in a van, and there is some exciting videos coming ahead and some exciting announcement coming. So please follow along and stay tuned for the next week's video.
See you next week, everyone.
Bye.